Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So why Looksmaxxin is a fraud, is a scam, is not real, and it's fake. Look, here's the fundamental fact, dude. I've been around these black pill Looksmaxxin circles enough, and there's a lot of misinformation, a lot of fake stuff that I really want to clear up. Which is number one, Looksmaxxin is not going to make you that more attractive. Look, so the idea within the black pill is a very simple one, which is that like if you have a certain underlying level of genetics or bone structure or height or whatever the fuck, there's only so much you are going to realistically do to push your point scale up. Let's say you are more or less a 5, okay? At max, you're gonna maybe go up, maybe say what, half a point, maybe to a 6, and that is it. Like it's not going up more than that. One thing that I heard a lot was just the diet coke. People think that, man, if you give somebody elite nutrition or while they're growing up, you give them the best nutrition, you make them drink tons of milk and blah, 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 blah. That's gonna make them 6'4", 6'5", or 6'2", or 6 feet at least. And the honest answer to that is a gigantic fuck no. Guys, let me put it to you like this. Your height at the moment, let's say you are 5'9", 175 centimeters, right? That is more or less what your range is going to be, right? Maybe with the best nutrition as a kid, you were maybe going to go up at max to maybe 5'10", right? And maybe if you didn't grow up with the best nutrition, maybe you might be at like 5'8", maybe 5'8.5". But the idea is, even if you did have the best nutrition that Jesus could ever conjure up, you are still not going to be 6'2", because it was not within your genetic code. Let me say this again. A 5'8" man and a 5'6" woman, 5'8" man, 5'6" woman have never had a 6'1", 6'2", 6'3" kid. It's just not, it just hasn't happened unless that child was a genetic outlier. At maximum, the child is going to be maybe 5'11", 5'10", and it's realistically going to be 5'10", and that's them with good nutrition, maybe 5'9" probably. So there's just a lot of misinformation, even right now with surgeries. These guys are out here wanting to do jaw surgeries, nose surgeries, eye surgeries, and it's just a lot. Some people are crazy. They want height surgeries, they want leg lengthenings, and it's just getting ridiculous. Look, in my personal opinion, I think maybe you should do maximum 1 to 2, honestly 1 to 2, and that is your cap. Maybe get you a hairline and a nose job, full stop. And in my personal opinion, anything to do with the eyes, eyebrows, do not do it. Guys, you can fuck around with everything else, but not the eyes. Guys, eyes are not a joke, okay? Your eyesight is something that genuinely should not be played with. Eyesight is way too important. However your eyes are, just accept it. And I guess the point here is that people feel like and think that they can manufacture their way to being a Chad, when the fundamental point of a Chad is that being a Chad is something that you were born with. You're just born a Chad. There's nothing else that I can say. It happened in the mother's womb. And not even in the mother's womb. It was the direct combination of the mother's genes and the father's genes that created said Chad. That created the Chad height and the Chad jawline and all this other stuff. And really, I'm just preaching a method of acceptance at the end of the day now, where first of all, most people watching and listening, you don't have the money to do these types of surgeries. Most people don't have the time off work to go do a nose job, let alone the money in this economy. Listen, let me tell you something. Across the world, people are being kicked in the ass by the economy. People are finding it harder than ever to find jobs. People are finding it harder, like even simple things like groceries are getting expensive, and you're sitting here talking about a nose job. Are you outside of your mind? People can't afford houses, let alone cars. People are struggling to afford to pay rent, still staying in their parents' house at 25, 30 years old. Not because, they didn't go to school. No, they did go to school, and they have degrees, and they are working. They just can't afford it. So, and here you are really talking about getting nose surgery. Look, if you can go get nose surgery, fucking go do it. But I'm just saying, most of you guys fundamentally will not be able to do it. Just telling you the real truth, And like, not just only that, even if you did go get that surgery, like, it just gets ridiculous. People start wanting nose surgeries and jaw surgeries and eye surgeries and fucking skin surgeries. And it's just like, eventually and very quickly, you're going to turn out botched. Let me tell you what happens. These surgeries, they're happening on tables and they happen on flesh. They're not happening on your phone. They're not done on your phone with picture perfect lighting and angles where you can contort things to just the right angle and just the right, and you can zoom in. That's not how surgeries are done, dude. That's not how they're done. And eventually you're going to get fucked up. That's why I'm telling you, in my personal opinion, you need 1 or 2. And whatever the fuck you are, you need to accept it. Okay? And honestly, the best thing that I can tell you, even maybe just do that 1 or 2 surgeries if you can afford it, but the best thing that I can tell you is geomaxing is going to be the best thing you can do. 100%. I'm gonna keep it so real with you. I was at this, let me put it like this. I was at this Caucasian environment, and man, I couldn't find a date to save my life. I just couldn't, right? But then when I went to a place that just wasn't as Caucasian, by the way, I'm still the same person, no surgeries, no anything. Maybe I'm a bit more in shape, but that's not really the key difference. All of a sudden, things started looking a hell of a lot different. And really, this is really what you guys need to do, which is that a lot of you guys are fundamentally trying to date or fundamentally trying to do stuff in environments that just aren't friendly to you. Notice all the guys that you see who quote unquote get girls or whatever the fuck, they're always people who are perfectly tuned for that environment, so to speak, right? Like you look at somebody like King 6 8 the Great, right? He does amazing with Latina girls, even white girls too, but not just random white girls. These are like, let me say, more hood, Travis Scott, Kylie Jenner, but what I'm saying? You get that idea. It's one of those ones, not like Taylor Swift white women. Fuck no. Taylor Swift white women, you have to be like a fucking Jacob Elderody, the Euphoria guy, or you have to be like a Travis. You have to be like a real white Chad, like a serious white Chad, like no cheating, no cutting corners. Okay, and it's just like you guys need to understand that. Okay, maybe not geo-maxing, but let me say situational maxing is better. And a lot of you guys, quite frankly, these who aren't white, you're going to just fundamentally do better with your own race or similar or adjacent races to yourself. But trying to date in environments that just aren't reflective of people who look like you or who act like you or who talk like you, you're going to play a tough game. It's going to be a really hard game. You're going to have to walk on eggshells because fundamentally, this is going to sound horrible, but it's real. You're just ugly. Like, you're just ugly or not important or just a mixture. So really, you're kind of an idiot for staying in places like that, you know? And many people feel like, oh, no, I'll just get rich and famous. Okay, let's just get to it. Most of you are not going to be rich or famous. Most of you are not going to become professional athletes. Most of you guys are not going to become famous musicians, streaming people. You guys are not going to do these things. You're just not. You're probably going to be more or less a regular guy forever. Don't get me wrong. You can maybe go to school. You may maybe start a business or something, maybe get some cash flow. But, you know, and obviously that will help. You know, obviously if you get a shitload of money, fuck everything I just said. You can do whatever. But even still then, for that natural attraction where somebody's looking at you and they just find you attractive, you're going to just have to, you know, geomax more or less for that. Especially if you actually want to score the ball, if you understand what I mean. It's going to have to be some level of that. So really, on top of you guys are just going to have to settle. Like, I don't know how else to say it. You're going to have to settle. You're going to have to look for something adjacent. You're going to have to find whatever the fuck is the best deal you can realistically get. Your best deal. And that's really what it's going to come down to. You know, I guess moreover, if you're not a Chad or you just don't have the credentials to be a Chad, you might do a couple things. And obviously these things can help. You can get in shape. You can get a hairline. You can get a nose job. Maybe pin back your ears. Maybe get a jaw surgery. Maybe, okay, that's too many surgeries. But, you know, maybe one or two maybe. And that is it, dude. Like, full stop. You know, like, and the thing is that most of you guys are just not going to be sevens. But also, to be very real with you, the 7 is very contextual to the place you're at. You know, if you're like a man, even for women, I'm not gonna lie, a woman who's like let me say an 8 at in like a small town, if she moves to like a big city, she automatically becomes a 6 because like just the competition's higher. There's just hotter people there, right? But then in a less competitive environment, so to speak, she becomes a 8, right? She becomes an 8, and that's the same thing with you. So right now, all things being considered, because remember with male attractiveness, believe it or not, or just male suitability of what type of males are actually going to get to score the ball and what ones aren't. It's not just your looks, it's also your money, it's also your status, it's also the way that you're perceived, it's also the social environment. I know you guys have experienced this when you're around a certain group of people and they just don't align with you. Not even on some dating stuff. You try to talk to some guys or some people, some women maybe, some new environment, and they're just different. They're just different people. Like I'm a football person, like soccer football person. If I'm around a bunch of NBA people, yeah, I might say a little bit, oh, LeBron went to the Sixers. Or, you know, Steph Curry has how many rings, but I'm not really up to date on like, you know, or like I'm not really into whether Steph Curry has a better handle than Kyrie Irving or whatever. I don't know that shit. But when it comes to football, right, soccer football, when it comes to that department, oh yeah, 100%, I'm there. I'm here to tell you why Eden Hazard, you know, at his peak is honestly better than Messi. Yeah, I'm one of them people. I can have these types of discussions, right? And that's not even to do with dating necessarily, but it's to do with the type of social situation where if you and me are talking football right now, I can actually tell you that the best players tend to not just only be good dribblers, but they also tend to be good passers as well. You can't be a top-level player without being a good passer of the ball. And that's one of the reasons why Kylian Mbappe tends to struggle in these tournaments, whether it be in the Champions League or even capturing La Liga, because other best players in those tournaments and leagues, they tend to pass the ball more. And Kylian is more of a player that wants to score the ball himself. And even though he's a reliable goal scorer, he needs to learn to circulate the ball more. You know, like I can have these types of discussions and nuances with other football people, but if you're a rugby person, if you're a baseball person, if you're a cricket person, if you're an NFL person, or all these other, I can't say anything. So if I'm talking football with you, you and me can actually now have a real conversation. You know, I've shown that I kind of know what I'm talking about. You can kind of see it. I can hear. We can speak back and forth on why, you know, Bellingham is more of a striker and attacking midfielder than what Pedri is. And the debate between who's better is actually retarded because Bellingham is honestly more of an attacking midfielder and the way he's positioning inside the box with crosses and being able to finish. And Pedri just doesn't do the same thing. He's more of a passer. You know, so I guess in some big game moments, someone like Bellingham would do better than what somebody like Pedri would do. But Pedri, over the course of a season, over the course of a tournament, can actually be very helpful compared to what somebody like Bellingham would be. But I think I proved my point, you know, in terms of the football thing. If you're a soccer football person, we can have that conversation in the comments. But for the rest of you guys, back to the point, which is that when it comes to dating and stuff like that, notice how right now, if you are a football person, you now take me seriously. My status has gone up. But because if you're trying to say, yo, is LeBron James better on the all-time list than Michael Jordan due to longevity, I can't even have that conversation. So my status now goes low. So you have to understand that fundamentally your SMV within a certain situation goes, in my opinion, it isn't even necessarily looks are the biggest thing. More so is it where you are at situationally. Because yes, it's very easy to say that, yeah, but if you were a Chad, you could, yeah, it's easy to say that, but you're not a Chad, or at least most people, 99% of us, we're not Chads or models or anything like that. So then in reality, for most people, what it's actually going to be, it's going to be more situational, I guess in a more formal way, it's going to be geo-maxing and even situational maxing. Like if you're a guy who's kind of nerdy, so to speak, it's better for you to go talk to nerdy girls. I'm gonna keep it real. Just keep it to your kind. If you're more of an outgoing guy, you get the idea. If you're an outdoorsy person, there you have it. And really just meeting somebody who more or less naturally aligns with the way you are is really going to be your best bet at finding somebody. And trying to disobey what I'm saying right now will lead you into being an incel over and over. Because you're going to be like, man, I tried, but it didn't work. But the way you tried, but where you tried, but how you did it is really what killed you. You were busy trying to talk to these Asian girls for some reason. And then all of them rejected you because you're just not white, or you're just not a tall, attractive white Chad. And then that's really what it was. But then if you were trying to speak to Hispanic girls who like skating, you could have had a different result, you know, but because you didn't actually think of the whole plan like that, now you're sitting here saying that you're an incel. And this is really more of the subtle things that a lot of these guys will say, yes, I did, but they actually didn't. And that's the thing why I say in my other videos, you need to not listen to all these guys about Looksmaxxin. You need to like, some of these guys, man, they be lying, bro. They'll overinflate their numbers. Look at, bro, I got 50 girls' numbers over the last 3 weeks. Liar. He's fucking lying. Maybe you got say 2, 3, 4, 5, but he ain't getting no goddamn fucking 50. Because even like, I don't know if you guys saw this video. This guy, his name is Face IQ. He's the guy who sells this face rating bullshit that isn't even fucking accurate. But anyways, and I'm not saying that because, oh, I got a low rank. No, like his shit isn't accurate. He tends to overrate people or underrate people. It's fucking retarded, right? And that's why I'm saying to a certain degree, looks are going to be, looks ratings and face ratings to some degree are kind of retarded because one of the things I wanted to talk about is that your face as you are is an aggregate, all right? Meaning like, Some people are going to view you an 8, some people are going to view you a 4. It just depends, you know, it really just depends. And like, obviously, yes, some people are going to be seen on average a bit higher, some people on average a bit lower, and it's just very big. You know, some of you guys also, I'm gonna just keep it so real. Some of you guys just don't know how to position yourself to talk to girls. I'm gonna just keep it so real. Some of you guys are just going in there way too rough, pause, way too weird, and it just creeps women out. And I should probably make a video on how to talk to girls. But anyways, the thing is, right, even if you are a chat, let's say some pretty girl comes up to you and starts talking to you. If you live in the real world and you're not a fucking autistic incel, you're gonna be like, why the fuck is this stranger talking to you? Yeah, they're attractive, but that actually makes it more suspicious. You know? So like, in reality, that's just the thing. Another thing too, like another piece of game, don't approach women on the street. I don't care how pretty she is, let it go. Do not approach women on the street. Just if someone, talk about it with you, if some guy tried approaching you on the street or some girl, wouldn't you be a little bit off? Like, what the fuck is going on? You know, like the best places to meet women, just get to the point. You need to meet women at places where the undertone is a bit social to begin with, and they can be more open to speaking to people. Because even if you go to the supermarket, dude, you don't know who you're meeting at the supermarket. And when you're meeting them at their lives, maybe they just got into an argument with their mom in the car, you know, on the phone, and then now they're going to go buy fucking cheese and chicken and pasta for dinner, you know, like, and then here's your ass, hey girl, what's going on? Like, it's not gonna work. So the best places to meet girls, quite frankly, it's going to be holidays, it's going to be festivals, it's going to be clubs, it's going to be resorts, it's going to be maybe events. Like go look for events. Go fucking join a book club. Go fucking join a gym. Go fucking join a spin club or something. I don't fucking know. Go join a club or something. You know, where the undertone is already social, and that is a hell of a lot better than trying to meet people in the wild. Because in the wild, people are not like, you don't know that person in question. They're actually studying for an exam and they ain't got time to look at your ass. You know what I'm saying? Especially since most of y'all aren't even that attractive. Like don't get me wrong, you good. You know what I'm saying? You got your little strong points there and there, but my brother, it doesn't work like that. But anyway, back to the point. Like I was saying, and lastly, my first bit of advice. Okay, I want to finish up this video, but lastly, my last bit of advice. Even if you're gonna go speak to girls, do not open up with a retarded question. Do not open up with a retarded question. Like you need to demonstrate. Like the first step, especially when meeting strangers, you need to demonstrate that you're normal. I don't care male or female. If you go up to a person and you're too forward, or you're too flirty, or you're trying to be too flirty, or you're trying to be too weird, it is going to scare people away because they don't fucking know you. Okay, if somebody came up to you and say, hey man, how are you? As if we're friends, I'm gonna be like, what the fuck is this? It feels like a scam. It feels like, you know, you have to think about it as if it was you. If you meet somebody say somebody's just being normal, that's a great thing. And then hopefully this is a place where you guys are gonna meet each other again and again. And by the second time you guys meet, there's already a level of, I kind of know this guy and he kind of knows me, and then a better conversation. When you start off a conversation with a girl, don't start with something retarded like, oh, I think you're beautiful. Don't do that. Don't ever fucking compliment a woman on her looks on the first time. If anything, compliment her on something else like, I don't know, like her bag, her jewelry, a shirt she's wearing, you know, something like where she's going. Maybe she has a bracelet of like, I don't even know what, or something like that. And just start the conversation off there and then let it unfold naturally. And then you can say something like, oh, I like your shoes. You know, I don't know, say something like, oh, I like your shoes. My grandma has shoes. Like, you don't say anything about your grandma, Jesus Christ. But say something like, oh, I love that shirt you wear. It's really great. Because since you guys already met each other before, right? And you can be, oh, I like that band you have there or something like that. But also, you need to not be autistic and read the signals back. If you're talking to somebody and they're not responding or giving you one-word answers, that's your signal to fuck off. But if they're responding back to you and it's like, oh, I got it from here and da-da-da-da-da-da, there you have it. You have to understand that to a certain degree, within all these methods and practices, you have to understand that it's a two-way street. Both parties need to want to walk forward. And if one party doesn't want to, the deal just collapses. And that's just the part of, that's why I'm saying go to a place where people are already social. And lastly, you guys are not gonna like it, but it's me being real. You need to look your best. Like, I don't care what nobody says. Like some of you guys think you're looking your best, but you guys look retarded, okay? Straightforward. Like literally go get clear skin, brush your teeth, comb your hair, go get a fucking haircut. Don't be wearing these weird bullshit Instagram styles, dress like a fucking normal human being, like an actual person with goddamn sense. You know, please brush your teeth, Jesus Christ, guys. Maybe get a cologne, but don't do too much with that shit. Have clear skin, be in shape, whatever you do not be fat. Lord have mercy, do not be fat. That doesn't work. You know, have clean clothes that fit, okay? Have clean shoes. These small things, believe you can piece it up together with everything I mentioned, your success rate, believe it or not, and your approachability rate is going to go up, and by just being not a normal, creepy, pushy weirdo. Because some of you guys, you guys might not see yourselves, but you guys ask girls like, oh my God, are you German? Shut the fuck up, you fucking weirdo. And here's some core tips when talking to new people. Number one, do not speak about politics. I don't give, like, what are you trying to do? Especially when you're talking to girls, what do you want? Do you want a comrade or do you want a girlfriend? What the fuck is going on? Don't talk about politics. Number two, don't talk about money. Number three, don't be judgmental. Like, believe it or not, do not be judgmental when you're speaking to girls about anything. You know, obviously you can say something like, I don't know, obviously you can say something like, you know, stealing is crazy or stealing is ugly or disgusting. That's fair. But like being judgmental of people like, oh, look at this guy, this girl, there's dumb, or this guy, his shoes are stupid. Don't do that. Your conversations are supposed to be light, positive, fun, intriguing. You know, talk about the weather and then you can relate it back to some childhood story. Talk about school and funny school stories and funny family stories. You know, make shit up. I don't care. Make up a story that when you were 15, you guys, after school, you guys, you know, I don't know, you guys like, you know, you were trying to do water bottles and then one of them fell into the neighbors and fucking broke a window. I fucking lie, but I know you were listening to it right now. You know, make yourself sound interesting. Don't lie too hard. You know, don't say no bullshit like, oh, I have a Bugatti. Don't lie like that. Little small lies that you can kind of weave out of, you know, but, you know, still. Okay, maybe you shouldn't lie that much. Maybe lying isn't the best. But sprinkle it in every now and again. And just be a fun person to speak to. Tell some jokes. And you guys don't know how to tell jokes. I'll tell you how to tell jokes, so at least get into the mood. Number one is over-exaggerations. And number two, it's divert expectations. You know, when you mix up everything I mentioned, dude, that's a recipe for having like fun time with any man or woman, pause, right? And I'm not gonna talk about the other methods on here because it's a bit too crazy, but just as a little starter, that's one thing you guys can do as well. And you can kind of mix it up too, but honestly, dude, it's also going to depend on the group of people you guys are going to meet. Sometimes you guys are going to meet groups of people that are actually pretty cool. Other times you're going to meet groups of people that are actually kind of awful, that are genuinely terrible, not good people. And I feel like at that stage, you got to know which one you is. Where sometimes you guys think the problem is you when it's really other people. and you're just meeting the wrong types of people. I've seen this happen so many times where I meet these group of people, oh my God, and these are dudes. And I'm like, whoa, these guys are great. These people are fantastic people. And then I was in another group environment not that long ago, and it was genuinely one of the worst things ever. I think some of you guys have experienced this with even people in your family where like, when I'm around these cousins, this side of the family, or these people, like my cousin and my uncle here, dude, we're having the best time ever. But when I go over there and I sit with my auntie and my other cousin, I feel like terrible. It's all down to the people, so I guess pick the right people, translation, geomax-ish kind of, or situational max. Do your 1 or 2 surgeries if you can. And yeah, that's more or less it. That's really the video for you guys. I hope you guys found value in it. I know it was a bit long, but I hope you guys, I should have kept on track in certain areas, but I feel like it was enough for you guys to chow down on. But anyways, I'll be uploading all these videos, man. As I told you guys, I'm in the middle of exam season and shit. You know what I'm saying? And, I got to make sure I get these good grades if I can get into university and crap. But yeah, guys, stay safe out here. It's crazy. And see you guys on the next one when I get a new idea, Oh yeah, lastly, shit, I forgot about this. Some of you guys need to learn something, which is give people their fucking personal space. Jesus Christ. I want you to outstretch your arm, and that is more or less like, I don't even know what, like, outstretch your arm forward like you're giving a little Hitler a little bit, you know what I'm saying, but bring it down. And that is the amount of distance, a little bit more, maybe an arm and a half of your arm, and that is as much personal space you should be giving somebody. Okay, some of you guys get way too close to people, and man or woman, nobody fucking likes that. You feel like, what the fuck, what's going on? By the second or third time you get used to somebody, maybe you guys can close that barrier a little bit, especially if you guys are standing side by side. Then you can close by. Maybe you guys are looking forward at something, then it can get shorter. But especially if you're in front of somebody. And another thing too, don't approach people from behind. Jesus Christ, fucking slide in normally, pause. That's another thing too. I guess the biggest thing you need to do, the biggest hurdle is that, number one, you need to situational max. And number two, these are just part of social skills that I'm just teaching you guys, right? And, yeah. I mean, shit, even with everything I said, still, there might be a hierarchy in that group. You don't know these people. There might be guys hating on you. And that's just being able to just identify where to go and which people versus which not people. So yeah, that's it. That's the last piece of it. I'll talk about other things later, but I don't want to talk about those things on YouTube. They're a bit too weird at times, so no. But yeah. Okay, this I don't want to make a whole video about this later, so I'm just gonna give you guys the 3-4 keys when trying to talk to girls, and this is like real sauce, which is number one, start with an observation. Number two, make a compliment, right? Not about her looks, but about something that she does or something that she did. And then number three, you're going to make a type of joke, right? Then you're going to do a story at the end, right? Maybe you ask her a story, you give a story. Let me give you an example. Let's start about an observation. Wow, in this restaurant is like, let me say this club is like, this restaurant, club, bullshit bar is like themed for cowboys, right? That's an observation. Then we make a compliment, right? Or an observation, or a question, basically, something like that, which is part of observation. You can ask her a question too, which is be like, if you were a cowboy, what type of horse would you want to ride on? Pause, Jesus. But anyways, right, then she'll give her answer, right? Then you can make a joke. You could be like, I thought you would like a green alien horse, make it random, then she'll probably laugh and be like, no, whatever, this is a little bit of a tease, a joke or whatever like that. And then you could tell a story about how, something about horses or animals that like, oh yeah, I remember when I was a kid, like this dog would chase me when I'd like come back from school and it would scare the shit out of me. Then it blends into the next conversation topic about, scary movies and scary topics. You see what I'm saying here? And then you start off the thing again. What was your favorite movie as a kid? Scary movie, whatever. Then it's like, I know that if you were in a scary movie, you'd be the one screaming all the time or something like that. Then she can laugh and say, no, I wouldn't. And then you can make a story or an observation. Like you see like these horror movies when like you'd be like the option is so easy to run away and then they'd still go in there. That's another joke as well. Then you can you know what I'm saying? Then you can tell something about people making dumb decisions, and they can be like about something else. And then, there's a way to blend it. You guys just need to use your brains a little bit. But maybe you should practice this with yourself, low key. And you can literally go from talking about scary movies and people getting murked in the bathroom to, oh, what's your favorite soap bullshit? Like I remember my mom used to use this, like there's this cherry soap all the time. I remember her with it. Oh yeah, and then she could be like, "Oh, my grandma," bullshit. And then you guys lead into family, and then you get talk about family. Then you guys talk about school, and then it turns into this really fun conversation that can leave somebody being like, "Wow, this girl's pretty fun." Something like that. So that's the last. Okay, that's the last step. I gave you guys too much game now. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out. Bye. Then obviously, as you get more comfortable with this person, whatever, and you can do this with males or females, ironically, with anybody who's willing to engage with this dance with you, ironically. And, yeah, there you have it, really, more or less. These are just social skills, really, and stuff, right? I wouldn't do the whole, yeah, whatever. But yeah, that's really the whole thing. But I'll see you guys next time. Peace out. Bye. I gotta go. And this is the last part of the video, and it's honestly a very important video. Last part of the video, because I was listening back to my audios, and I think I kind of brushed past this, but I should get into it. But basically, the idea is that you have to understand that your looks rating is going to be an aggregate. It's not going to be the same for everybody. Like, one of the things you guys need to understand is that for some environments, you're going to be seen as an 8, and for some environments, you're going to be seen as a 4. And that's just a big part of it that you guys need to understand, because some of you guys, when you guys go look for these face ratings and you go look for this and you go look for that, you guys think that it's universal. And of course, some things are universally bad and some things are universally good. Like, obviously, the taller you are, the better. That's a fact. Obviously, if you have some sort of deformity, I don't know what, maybe say your nose is like to the left or some bullshit. Obviously, yes, that is going to affect your looks. Okay, we know these things. But a huge part of how your attractiveness is going to be perceived is a huge part of it is going to be very situational. Like, one of the things that I feel like that I see that a lot of you guys might not understand. I come from a country where English is spoken is like the language of commerce, like the language of learning and writing and business. But a lot of people, virtually every single person, has like a second or third language that they speak on the side. And basically, among this country, there's like different little cultures and subgroups. And the thing is that if you're going to move and walk into a different subgroup, not understanding the indicators within that group, within that place, it's going to be very hard to signal attractiveness in that group, or how good or bad you are, so to speak. And this kind of goes back to the thing I was speaking about situationally with the football, thing on why I'll give you a simple one right now. Cristiano is better than Messi in terms of goal scoring, right? But Messi is an overall better player in terms of dribbling and passing and playmaking. And, the thing is that which one is better? It's actually technically Cristiano, because if we're looking at what is the point of an offensive player, it is to progress the ball towards goal and score goals. And Cristiano just does it better. And because of that strict definition, Cristiano is better. But if we're looking at it, who's better overall in terms of uplifting a team's capability on offense, it's definitely Lionel Messi. But okay, that's just me and my little football opinions there. But the point is that how you're able to culturally communicate. I feel like this is such a big part that even if you geomax, it's going to be part of it, or situational max. And that's why I recommended to you guys to situational max, or I guess local geomax, to specific situations where a person like you, a person with your natural abilities or interests or likes, are going to be seen as more attractive, rather than you trying to get into a place or a space that's just virtually impossible. Because in some environments, you guys will be treated like gods. In other environments, you'll be treated like ass. And it's so important that you're able to read these situational, because one of the things too about face rating that I really wanted to get into is that your face is seen as an aggregate. Some people, due to whatever reason, they're going to be seeing you as a 9. Other people are going to be seeing you as a 3 for a different reason. Let's say you are an Asian guy. You're 5'11 inches tall. Among other Asian women, you're gonna be seen as a fucking 8. But if you could try to speak to certain types of white women, they're gonna fucking see you as a 3. And obviously whatever your race is gonna depend and vary and go up and go down dependingly. So ultimately, whatever score you are, it's an aggregate. But you have to also remember, when you meet a specific person, they don't see you as a 6 or as a 5. They see you as what they see you. They see you as a 3. They see you as a 4. They see you as an 8. They see you as a 2. They see you as whatever they see you, right? And especially when you add in everything else that makes a person attractive, their ability. Have you ever been around these people who are just good to talk to? They're just smooth. I don't know how to explain it. Now, obviously, like I gave you a little guide earlier on in this video on how to try to do that, but even still, then you understand what I'm saying to you. All of that is going to play into how attractive you are going to be, from the looks, from the situation, from the everything. Some of you guys are not understanding what I'm trying to say over here. I'm saying that you can positionally put yourself in a place to be the most attractive as possible. Maybe for some of you guys, keeping it real, on a global scale, you are a 4. But when you go to a place, you're not when I go to Mongolia, I'm not meeting the world. I'm meeting not even everybody in Mongolia. I'm meeting the people, just those people. If I'm going to Brazil, I'm not meeting the whole entire population of Brazil. I'm meeting the people that I meet on that trip during that specific time only. You get what I'm saying to you? So even this trying to say global rating scale, it's retarded. And trying to get a specific person's rating of you is still retarded, because your rating and your scale is going to be different per person and depending on what and how and why. Let alone your entire SMV as a guy, like how much social status you are. I know all this hierarchy bullshit that that human beings love to do. And if you can somehow position yourself within the right social group, within the right per people who view your looks as not that bad or good enough at least, and you've done all the Looksmaxxin physical that you could possibly do, you guys could genuinely see yourself being in a different environment. I don't know what that's going to mean for you. Maybe for some of you guys, you need to go talk to Hispanic girls. Maybe for some of you guys, you need to go speak to Eastern European girls. Maybe some of you guys need to go speak to fucking Arabic girls or Turkish ones. I don't fucking know. I have no idea. Okay, you kind of more or less know what you're thinking. But generally speaking, go to a place where people would generally understand your looks better. Like if you're a black guy, generally speaking, black girls are going to understand what is attractive. But when you're trying to speak to white girls, they kind of see all of you as black. They kind of see all of you as black, and it just doesn't matter. You understand what I'm saying to you? So, I mean, it's not the same for every race. It's a bit different, right? And I really couldn't tell you, because even still then, not all people in any group are the same. Some people are going to love you here. Some people are going to hate you here. And I could keep on saying that over and over again. And some of you guys get autistic because you stay in one area, you stay in one place, you stay with these one group of people, and you really have barely, if ever, branched out, especially in the proper way, all things being put together. You kind of sloppily or weirdly or artistically do it, and then it fucks up, and then you go like, oh, it doesn't work for me. And it's like the people who you were trying to approach and why. And another thing to your face, you're going to have to lower your standards if you really want to get something in these streets. And I don't know what else to tell you. So yeah, anyways, that's my last update. I think I made enough content for today, and I'll see you guys on the next one on other things that I end up speaking about. But yeah,